Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Radiant Butterfly 24. Today is Friday, December 5th, 2025. Hope everyone is having a good day. This video is going to be about four images that I ended up selecting, and the title of the video, Restaurant Setting Tactic of the Targeting. And just think back on when you wasn't aware of your targeting, and like as of today you're aware of the targeting that's going on. And say for instance someone that you know that like invites you out to a restaurant, or you know, they may say, do you want to go out to grab a bite to eat? You want to go out to get coffee or whatnot? And then you are in agreement, but in, you know, you may be aware of your targeting, or like prior you was not aware of your targeting, and so they happen to choose the place and of the seating arrangement. And so I'm going to tell you, this has happened to me on 4 occasions. So the 3 occasions I was not aware of the targeting that I was dealing with. On the 4th time, I was fully aware. And so I'm going to enlarge the images that you see here. And mind you, of the images that that's going to be within the video, I have no copyrights to the images, just using these images to, you know, make a point from the video. And so I'm going to start with this image here. So I'm going to adjust it for you all to see. So, okay, so this image here, so mind you, the person who invited you to go to the restaurant to get a bite to eat, or to, you know, get a cup of coffee or whatnot, and say for instance they happen to get there before you do. And that, and mind you, this has happened to me on 4 occasions where they have ended up, they ended up picking the place. Now mind you, okay, I'm gonna just tell you this. The first time, it was like a regular restaurant that opened, you know, regular business hours. And, you know, open regular business hours, closed at the regular business hours. And then on the other 3 occasions, it was more so like a restaurant, like a brunch restaurant setting, where the restaurant will open like early in the morning, but they will close like around 2-3 o'clock p.m. you know. And so you know, it would, you know, during those hours of closing in the afternoon. And so, for example, say for instance, like I said, they choose the place, they get there before you do, and this is the back of the restaurant, and they happen to be sitting right here, behind the window here. So when you arrive to the restaurant, and upon getting there after them arriving, you get there, then they expect you to sit at this seat right here. And mind you, with your back turned from, the entrance and the exit of the restaurant, your back is turned from, the employees, workers within the restaurant. Your back is turned from those individuals that are already like in the restaurant. And, just mind you, you can't even see who is, coming in or, leaving out of the restaurant. And, even like the waitress waiter is approaching you from behind to take your order or to bring out the food and drinks and checking the table to see if everything is okay. So the thing is, it's like a setup type thing. And I may come back to this image here, so I'm gonna move on to the next image. So this image here, same type of setting of it. The table may be like in the back of the restaurant. They have arrived before you do. They're sitting at this seat, and then when you arrive, they expect you to sit at this seat, and your back is turned. And so, you just don't want to be in a position like that where, you're at the restaurant and they're expecting you to just sit at the seat where, you can't, see what's going on. So here's like another image, of me choosing this image, and of it having a nice view, and just say this table is in the back of the restaurant, they're sitting here, you arrive, they expect you to sit here. Now, like I said, this happened on 4 different occasions. But like the 4th occasion, I was fully aware of what was going on. And when I arrived, I immediately knew that they was involved with the targeting. Just like when I look back at the other 3 occasions where I didn't know, those individuals were involved. So I'm gonna go over to the last image here. And I thought that this was a good image of where you can see like for example, they're sitting here, you arrive and they expect you to sit here. And it's like a little setup. And especially when it's something about the restaurants that have like they may have like breakfast, brunch and lunch, and they close, like I said, 2 p.m., 3 p.m. in the afternoon. And you may have gone there in agreement to meet up with them to talk to them about something. And they gathering up information, maybe go back and tell the handler what you all had talked about. But then also it is proof that you met at the restaurant for them to benefit from your targeting. And then it's in the images that I showed you, it kind of is like a isolation of where you're sitting, not knowing what the hell going on in the restaurant. And like the fourth time, like I said, I was aware. And when I arrived and saw, and it was like this setting, I was like, I can't sit with my back turned. And so and you can kind of tell that person's demeanor kind of like changed, because they thought that from their mind or their plan that I was gonna like sit here. It's like, no, I can't sit there not with my back turned. And then they were like, well, I'm like that too. We ended up well, the thing is, what makes you think that I was like that, to where that I would sit there with my back turned? So it's just something about that, where they choose the place, they end up arriving before you do, and they select a table, and the table setting is like this. And thinking that you're gonna like sit here, and you can't see nothing that's going on, because you want to be able to see who's coming in, who's coming out of the restaurant. You want to see what's going on with the workers, the employees, the staff. You want to see them, bringing the items to your table. You know, you want to see if any, like, the perpetrators that might be up in a restaurant, watching you. So going back to that fourth occasion that I was in, and of where I didn't I let the person know I wasn't going to sit with my back turned. We ended up moving to another table, and it was more like a booth setting. So going back to the first time, when I met with the person. I met with that person at a restaurant, like I said, with the regular business hours of them opening and closing regular business hours. I had met this person before I had went into work. And so mind you, it was like, you know, where the meet was kind of like short, because afterwards I had to go into, go into work. But we ended up sitting in like a booth style, and I'll just use this as an example. So imagine this being like a booth, and I sat here, and then they sat on the other side of the table. But yet, like, the waitress, waiters were or whatnot. Well, we had like a waitress, and the waitress came from behind and, brought the food items to the table. But I remember after we had ate at the restaurant and we were getting ready to leave, and that person made a comment, and she ended up indicating, she said, don't let them get to you. So it was like a subliminal message of the targeting. Because I was like thinking to myself, what do you mean don't let them get to me? And so and then even with that particular person, I believe they were targeted too. We did work at the same workplace, but we were on two different shifts. And I just remember her making that comment, like, don't let them get to you. And then the second time I met in a restaurant setting like this, and it was like toward the back, and in a booth, but back was turned, and all I was looking at was the wall. Now, mind you, I was not aware of the targeting, but I knew some things was going on. And I just remember the waitress was like, well, because I was undecided about what I was going to order. And so, and she was like, well, let me know what you're going to order, because she said, I'm getting ready to, I'm going to be, leaving after, you all's table or whatnot. So that was another indication of the targeting, because that's what they do. They want to, like, when you like go places, they want to indicate that they're leaving for the day. They're getting ready to go on break, or they're getting ready to go on their lunch. And so, mind you, it's like, how are you leaving early when this place closed like 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon? How come you're not leaving when everybody else leave? Why are you leaving before that time? So that was an indication that about the targeting, when she mentioned that, she wanted to take the order of it being her last table, and that she was going to be leaving early, which she ended up leaving out when we did. The person and I that met, and upon us leaving, she was leaving out the door, and it was an indication of wanting it to be seen that she was leaving. And so that, of me thinking back on that, of that's what they do when, when I'm out, at a store or whatnot. They want to indicate that they're, like, again, they're leaving early, they're going on break, they're going on lunch. And the person that I was had met up with at the restaurant, when we were leaving out of the restaurant, they were laughing. So they were fully aware of the targeting, and probably and was in on it. The third time, the person had mentioned about, going to get coffee or whatnot. And when someone says about going to get coffee, you're thinking like at a coffee shop, where they actually sell coffee, they actually sell teas or whatever. And so end up meeting at a restaurant that does the breakfast, brunch, and lunch. And so of them like switching it up. So this was the place they chose. Get to the restaurant, and I'm gonna use this table setting. So they're in the back, this long table, and it's like, why would you choose this table? And then again, my back is turned. Why would they have you sitting at because the table was like longer than this, and they're sitting here, and this is where it was expected where I was to sit. And then I was thinking about, that was kind of odd. Why would they allow you to sit at this table, where this table was a setting for like a bigger party, And mind you, the restaurant wasn't like crowded like that. But and then I just remember the person was saying, like, I would like turn around, try to see what was going on. And they're like, I got you, like as if I'm seeing what's going on. I got you. So it was just some uncomfortableness within that setting. And it was believed that they was trying to get in on the targeting. And then like I said, the fourth time I was aware, and of me being aware, I ended up deciding to not sit there, and we ended up moving to another table. But of me being aware, I didn't didn't even order anything, and just and I was careful about what the conversation. So just wanted to do this video and see if anybody could relate to the things that I was mentioning in this video. And then also want to add this, of those occasions of it being like a short, limited setting of the restaurant getting ready to close, of having to wrap things up like within your conversation, deciding whether or not you're going to meet up again. But I just believe it was like a setup to where they wasn't trying to be at a restaurant where it was regular business hours. They were, whatever it was about involving the targeting is like afterwards. I'm just saying, like, afterwards, that was their chance to get with the handler and tell them, what you all discussed, or what was discussed. or proof that met at that type of a restaurant. So I don't want to make this video long, and I believe I pointed out all the things that I want to point out in this video pertaining to the restaurant setting tactic of the targeting, and just, you know, being seated in an isolated position at the restaurant. And that's what I wanted to you know, talk about in this video, and just want to know if you all experienced this as well, of you know, someone that you may know invite you out to a restaurant setting, and it could be somebody that you suspect that's part of your targeting. And so that ends this video. That being said, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and thank you for watching my channel.